Hey guys, in this video I want to provide practical ways for you to focus better on long or difficult tasks, whether you're studying or you're working. I'm Daniel and this is My Data-Driven Life. The goal of my channel is to try to define and improve metrics in my own life and condense the information I learn along the way into educational videos for you guys. I want to provide you with the tools you need to make yourself more efficient, figure out where you want your life to go, form a plan to start reaching your full potential, and of course, smash that like button. The internet revolution has introduced a lot of ways for you to get distracted. I bet you're looking at your phone right now. Come on, put that phone away. Unless you're watching on your phone, of course. Then carry on. I don't know if you've noticed, but we're in the middle of a pandemic, and it's more difficult than ever to focus on stuff whenever you have all these new distractions, like a roommate, a pet, a significant other, a child. 2020 has been pretty stressful, and I'm sure 2021 probably will be as well, so it's understandable that it's a little harder to focus. Disclaimer, I'm just a layperson, and while these techniques worked for me, you need to use your own judgment and determine if these will work for you, okay? Let me know in the comments if you have additional tips or disagree with some of the tips that I mentioned. With that said, let's get right into the content of this video. The first thing you can do is try to block your time out efficiently. Constant context switching is going to eat into your time and ultimately your progress will be a lot slower. If you're trying to optimize your time at work and you have a lot of meetings, try to prefer to group them together if you have any control over that. Let's say you have 5 different tasks that you have to do and they're fairly different. It's probably more efficient for you to try to do one type of activity each day or each evening instead of trying to context switch constantly from one type of activity into the other. Let's say you're working on making a YouTube video. Hey, that's me. If you did 30 minutes of planning, 30 minutes of recording, and 30 minutes of editing right after each other, then you're gonna have a lot of context switches like setting up your camera and lights, opening your editing software, etc. It's much better in this case to, let's say, have an evening where you do planning, an evening where you do recording, and then a separate evening where you do editing, or 2 evenings for editing, or 3. Yeah, editing takes a while. So in summary, you want to try to block your time out in a way where you're not constantly context switching before different things. This is going to make you a lot more efficient in the long run, and you're going to save a lot of time. With all the instant gratification that you have access to right now, like social media and TV and movies and video games, doing stuff that you really need to do, whether it's difficult or boring, is just not nearly as appealing as pulling out your phone and checking Twitter. When I really need to focus on something and I know it's going to be boring or difficult, what I tend to do is I try to do something less stimulating beforehand, like going on a walk, doing some chores, doing a little bit of meditation. If you do something that's not as stimulating beforehand, then you basically trick your brain into enjoying or appreciating that more boring task a little bit more. Now, I'm not a neuroscientist, so this may be a little bit off, but intuitively it makes sense. Try it out for yourself and see if it works for you. I like to take one quick walk around the block, which takes 5 to 7 minutes for me. And I try to do it without any kind of stimulation like audiobooks or music. I just put on my shades, put on my mask because pandemic, and walk around the block and look at stuff and take in all the senses that I can. Another thing that's really important is to make sure that you're not distracting yourself. I used to have my phone out and I'm looking at all the new notifications that come in, and I eventually realized that this is super counterproductive. So what I've started doing is I put my phone face down on my desk or somewhere nearby. It's on silent. I don't get vibrations whenever notifications come in. I turn off notifications on my smartwatch. Absolutely no distractions from the phone, auditory or otherwise. Believe me, even if you don't engage with the notification that you receive, just the fact that you see the notification come in is going to distract you just a bit. Another thing that I've found really effective is using the same music playlist each time. Have you ever heard of Pavlov's experiment where he rings a bell every time that he gives food to his dog and eventually the dog salivates whenever he hears the bell? That's called classic conditioning and it works on humans too. So what I'm basically doing is telling my brain, whenever you hear this music playlist, it's time to focus and get some work done. So I have this very specific playlist that I listen to every single time, and it has the really great side effect of putting my dog to sleep as well so she doesn't bother me. There have been studies, which I'm going to link in the description, which shows that music helps reduce the stress response. And there's another study that stress reduction is correlated with higher productivity. You can experiment with different types of music or different genres or different playlists, or maybe you have your own playlist already. If you do, then that's great. Here's my playlist. While it's great to focus on your task for an hour or two, sometimes you get fatigued. And if you do get fatigued, it's okay to distract yourself for a bit, check Reddit, whatever. As long as you don't let yourself go overboard and get back to your task after your quick break. One thing that I was doing in the past that was really not useful was I would basically reward myself before doing the work. So, I'm sitting there just watching YouTube videos, one after the other, and I tell myself, okay, after 3 more videos, I'm going to actually get some work done. But instead of doing this stuff before your block of work, you can actually set this up as a reward for yourself. So let's say you do 1 hour of studying, you can reward yourself by watching 1 or 2 videos. Just keep it realistic, okay? And just to make sure that you're on track, I recommend this app called Toggl Track, and you can basically log your time, add some labels or tags to describe what you're doing. I use this for project work and my day job. And then there's this really nice dashboard where you can see how much time you spent each day, and then you can kind of look and see if there are week over week improvements. And this is a great way to keep yourself responsible because you can look at your weekly totals and challenge yourself to improve yourself a little bit each week, like let's say 5% better each week. And last, I think there's something that everyone should start doing, especially now that we're more and more engaged with technology in our daily lives. Not saying that technology is bad or that we shouldn't keep using our phones or anything like that, but I think it's become more important than ever to be able to practice the skill of focus and attention. And I think the best way to do that is with mindfulness meditation. So there's a bunch of different places where you can do guided meditation. I use an app called Simple Habit. I'm maybe switching to an app called Headspace soon, but just give it a try. I think meditation is the most important thing that I've started doing, and I think everyone should try it. Do you have any other tips or techniques that I failed to mention? Let me know in the comments or join my Discord and let me know there. Let me know on Twitter. If you liked this video and you haven't already subscribed, I humbly ask that you do so. I plan to keep making videos like this on a regular basis. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.